And welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, that's Bryant, and we are ready to break down some Friday night baseball. There are two games currently going on right now, and I am watching both very intently as I have picks in both. So if you watched the earlier game, I give out the earlier video. I did give out the Cubs plus a half in the first five, as well as Cubs team total. So it's they're currently down by one in bottom of the fifth with bases loaded. So hoping they can get something here. And then the Jays just got a base hit, but they might be challenging the safe call. So we will see there. It does look like something's happening in this Cubs game, but we will start with the first game that I chose here for us to talk about. And that is the St. Louis Cardinals are headed to Philadelphia. Minus 145 for the Cardinals, plus 120 for the Phillies, a total of 9.5. I said on yesterday's show that I intended on looking to. Oh no, the Cubs got out. Yeah, out. Oh well, one run away from the team total. That's okay. But yeah, I said in yesterday's show that I was looking to live bet the Braves in that game against Philadelphia. And luckily, Philadelphia got off to such a big lead that the Jays just got a double play as well. That sucks. They got it to such a big lead that I didn't live bet Atlanta because it was such a big lead that they weren't going to come back. So I stayed off that game completely. But now we have the Phillies hosting the Cardinals here in this one. And pitching wise, Miles Mikolas has been really good this year. In his last three games, he's went 6 innings and 8.2 innings in the other. And he's only given up 1 earned run against the Cubs, 2 earned runs against Milwaukee, nothing against Pittsburgh, and 9 hits in those 3 games. He's been just really pitching well for the Cardinals. On the other side for the Phillies, Bailey Faulkner, a lefty. He hasn't pitched a whole lot, but in his last 3 games here, 5 innings against Washington, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. In New York, 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 earned run. In Seattle, now he's at home here against a Cardinals team that does very good against lefties. So I'm expecting the Cardinals to kind of take this game here. So I have the Cardinals first 5 minus a half at minus 105. And then I have St. Louis money line in a couple parlays. And I will put my parlays at the bottom of the screen shortly. Bryant, what do you think here? Cardinals and Phillies.
Yeah, my pick here is definitely the Cardinals. I'm laughing because maybe I'm just missing something with the way this game is being priced, but Miles Mikolas at minus 145 against Bailey Falter is odd to me. I don't know if I'm like missing something. Like I said, I'm just confused. I feel like there should be a much bigger discrepancy in the pricing here, simply based off the pitching. Bailey Falter's made like 3 starts this year, and he has an ERA of 5.40. His WHIP is 1.20, which isn't like horrible. He has a K rate or K percentage of 20%. Not bad. He doesn't really walk guys, but the biggest thing here is his FIP is at 7.33 compared to Mikolas at 3.65. That's fielding independent statistics. So it takes defense out of the equation. And that is insane to me. And his Sierra is almost at a 5, which is very much an alarming thing to look at. So I'm not really understanding why the Cardinals are being priced like this, and especially considering how well they hit lefties. And again, this is not one of the premier lefties in baseball. So I'm not really understanding it, but I am going to take a gamble here, and I've got the Cardinals money line at minus 145. Um, and I also have the Cardinals F5 run line minus a half at minus 115. I think that's really just the best value on the board today because I expect the Cardinals to come out here and jump on Falter early, maybe put 2-3 runs up, and Nicholas Cruz's through those first five, sitting down those guys. I know the Braves struggled yesterday. Against this lineup, but I just can't help but think that this team is easier to navigate when Bryce Harper is just not there. So I think that kind of rings true tonight, and I like the Cardinals on the F5 run line at minus a half, and I like them in the full game. And I am going to sprinkle a little bit on the F5 team total over 2.5, and that's minus 120. I see value in the Cardinals just jumping straight on Falter, and I want to get in, get out, get the money as much up as I possibly can. So, yeah.
The red jerseys have kind of been bad luck, so I will not. I don't have one, but oh, that was a really nice catch by Springer. He's just running and catching, like he's making amazing catches, like where he has to run and like that one. That was a diving catch. That was awesome. But we'll go on here to the next game. The Atlanta Braves minus 280 are in Cincinnati plus 230. A total of 9.5 in this one. What can really be said about this game? Max Fried against Mike Minor. 7-2 with a 2.77 ERA for Max Fried, 92 strikeouts. Mike Minor 1-4 with a 7.71 ERA, 21 strikeouts. Atlanta, the fourth best team against lefties in baseball. Cincinnati, they're 12th, so they're able to hit lefties as well. But I think there's a huge pitching advantage here with the Braves. The Braves were embarrassed yesterday against the Phillies. I think they're going to want to bounce back here against one of the worst teams in baseball. So I like the Braves here. I have their money line in a couple parlays. I'll bring my parlays up now. So I do have, let me fix that. I do have Atlanta money line in some parlays because the run line just wasn't really worth very much. Obviously, the money line is not really worth much either, but that's why I parlay it together to get plus money plays. So I like Atlanta in this one. Bryant, what do you think here? Braves and Reds.
Yeah. I don't there's not a lot of value for any of the traditional, side bets here. I have the Braves in a money line parlay with the Yankees, the Cardinals, and I am going to hop on with the Brewers as well. I have all four of those teams. Those are I think that the heaviest price faves of the night, or not, well, excluding the Cardinals, but the other three are. I feel confident in those, so that's going to be my little four-teamer right there. My value play for this game is we're just looking to fade Mike Minor. No game that he's pitching this year has ended. He's ended with a sub-6 ERA. Like every game, his ERA for that specific game is 6 or higher. So I've got to go to the Braves F5 team total over 2.5. It's minus 145. I really think that's the only thing that you're going to get that's decent for this game. You eliminate the Braves pitching out of the way, which I mean isn't an issue. They are the best starter on the mound anyway. But that way, we're just focusing on fading Mike Minor. I think that's the biggest bet that you can have in this game is that he's going to be the one to give up some hits and some runs. So I like the value in them jumping on him. Like you said, they're going to be pissed. They got wrecked yesterday. And they did the right thing. They didn't pitch any of their best arms. They just let guys eat innings, like lower bullpen guys. And so the real bullpen, heavy duty guys are going to be able to be available tonight. So if the Braves get up and they want to pull Fried, I think that they'll be fine to be able to secure a lead. So with that, I'm also going to sprinkle something, since I think that they're going to jump on minor. I'm also sprinkling something on the Braves F5 run line minus a half, or minus one half. It's plus 105. That's really the only plus value in this entire game, unless you go with like some sort of team total. But that's going to be jumped up to like six runs or so. And while I think it's possible, I much rather put faith in the Braves coming out and putting six runs in like 5 innings on Minor and whatever bullpen guy that may come in to relieve him. And the Braves are cruising by top 6, top 7. So those are my plays. I like the Braves to win. They're going to be my parlay piece tonight. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I totally forgot what I was going to say now. But I totally forgot. Totally blanking here. We'll jump into the next game. The Yankees minus 225 are headed to Cleveland, plus 185. Total of 8 in this one. Kind of like Atlanta, but obviously the Yankees did not get blown out like Atlanta did, but they are coming off a loss. And now they have Garrett Cole on the mound. They're facing Aaron Savali. Aaron Savali has pitched well his last couple of games, so you can give him that. But still 8 hits, 3 earned runs, and 4 innings against Boston. He may have got lucky. He also had 3 walks. Against Minnesota, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 5 innings. And then against Detroit, obviously, a team he's dominated his whole career. He pitched well there as well. But this is the Yankees. This is not Detroit or Minnesota or even Boston. This is one of the best teams in the league, or one of the best teams in baseball, top 2, and they are off a loss. I don't know when the last time the Yankees lost 2 in a row was, but I honestly can't remember because it's probably been a long time. So I'm sure, Bryant, maybe you would know that when the Yankees have lost 2 in a row previously, but I like them here in this one against Cleveland, a team that I think is a little bit overrated at some points. Yeah, they're 39 and 34 in the year, but I think they're a little bit overrated at times. And I like the Yankees to bounce back. As you can see there in my parlays below, I didn't take anything singly on the game. What I was going to say before, now that I just remembered, Atlanta team total over 5.5. I saw it like minus 115. So I was like not really interested in that because it's a team total over 5. So the books are pricing things well today. The books are expecting these big favorites to come through. And that's why I know a lot of people don't recommend parlays, but in certain times, I think they're good. And that's a day like today where you can parlay some of these big favorites on the money line. So that's, again, what I decided to do here. Bryant, your Yankees are facing Cleveland. Do they bounce back tonight, or do they lose 2 in a row?
The last time I hopped on this show and I talked about them bouncing back, they were getting no hit through 6 innings and somehow found a way to beat the Astros. So I'm going to ride the good energy again. We lost the Astros yesterday. Back at it today. I do believe they bounce back. I think people don't realize, and are obviously Andy, we've talked about this before, keeping up a 730 win percentage is almost like highly improbable. So Yankees losing games is not really that big of a deal. If they start just like looking horrible, then I would raise concern. That's not the case. They played in some really tight games with the Astros, who probably maybe the team that they face in the ALCS, or definitely one of the teams as a possibility of the teams they face in the ALCS. So losing three games to them doesn't really like affect me that bad. It was a 2-1 game. They just came through a little bit better in that bat. So we're off to Cleveland, and Garrett Cole's on the mound. And the big thing for me in this game is, since that really horrible start in Minnesota, Garrett Cole has an ERA of 0.89 in the 3 starts since. So I know everyone wanted to talk about it, and I get it. It's because he makes a crap ton of money. He's the highest paid pitcher in the MLB. So if he basically isn't out here throwing 9 innings and throwing complete games, then it's, oh well, he's bad. It's just not. It's just factually just not true at all. He's been a very good pitcher, damn near great sometimes, and I think he's starting to really round into form. He's catching his stride, and I like for Garrett to bounce back. He had an extra day's rest, and so my big play tonight is, yes, I do think the Yankees are going to win. That's a money line parlay type of deal. It's nothing that I need to like overly talk about. Savali's not a good pitcher. He has like a 1.65 whip at home, which is not good. I see the Yankees winning this game, so I'm not really worried about that. But I have to find better value for betting purposes. Like, you want to win some money. And for me, I am looking at the fact that Cleveland is in a rut for the most part. Yes, they had a good June. I think they're slowly starting to come down just a little bit. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to ride I'm going to hop on the train of my ace. And I've got the Yankees or the Cleveland Guardians team total under 3, full game -125. I'm taking Cole's recent numbers into account, and I'm taking into account the fact that the Cleveland batters, the current Cleveland batters on this team, have a 524 OPS against Garrett Cole. That is not good at all. They struggle against him. So I'm going to take those two things together, and that's the best. I mean, there's value there. You're not like paying, -200 for anything. It's something that, it's an interesting pick, and I think that there's better value there than sitting there and trying to milk out an F5 run line of like -190. I think that's stupid, although it might happen, but there's no money there. So I'm going to go with that. And then I'm also going to double up and take the Guardians F5 team total under half a run. That's +190. Shout out to the Blue Jays as well. They're making some noise right now. And,
yeah, I just started cheering, and I was muted because I was just
over.
like,
I looked over and saw it, and I was like, yes. But I think that there's value. If I'm going to sit there and say that the Yankees are going to hold the Guardians under 3 runs, why would I not just take a risk and sprinkle something on them, on Garrett Cole, holding them for scoreless for 5 innings at +190? I'm not going to put a lot on it. Just going to sprinkle it. But let's test and see how well Cole is pitching right now. And if it hits, it hits. But that's something that I'm really interested in going forward, is looking at some of these like big name pitchers and trying to milk them to hold teams scoreless, because you get better value there than maybe when they're favored at, their favorites at -200 or something like that. So those are my plays. Yankees win. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Calvin Biggio hit a double.
Yes.
It bounced right off Kiermaier's glove. So his first game back from injury, and he could have had that catch, but it bounced off his glove. And now Springer's up with a guy in second and third, 1 out.
I need a hit. Need a hit.
Yeah, me too. We'll jump into the next game here. The Angels +145 are headed to Houston, -165. A total of 8 in this game. I think I underestimated Houston a little bit this year. I kind of expected them to take a step backwards, but they haven't. They're 48-27 in the year, playing great baseball. The Angels started off hot, but they came back down to earth. Lorenzen in his last 3 games, 2 losses against Seattle. He pitched pretty well in the home start, but was very bad on the road start. 7 hits, 7 earned runs in 5 innings. And then a win at home against the Mets. But now he's headed to Houston. Let's see his also Lorenzen on the road. He's 2-3 with a 6.14 ERA in 5 starts. So he's pitched much better at home, not so much on the road. And now he has to head to Houston. One of the best teams in the East, or in the AL. So now on the other side, Javier, 5 5-3 in the year with a 2.73 ERA. In his last 3 games, wins against the Yankees and White Sox, no decision against Texas. Gave up 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts against the Yankees. 2 hits and 1 earned run against the White Sox. And then in the game before, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against Texas. He's been pitching really well. This is a Houston spot. So like I said, these big money line favorites, I'm parlaying them together. Yankees, Houston, as you can see below, plus 132. That's just the way I'm trying to tackle these games today. But I'm also on Houston first 5 minus a half at minus 118. I think that's a great bet. I see them leading after 5 and winning this game handily. Bryant, what do you think here? Angels and Astros. You're muted.
Sorry. I know all too well. Christian Javier was through 7 innings, no hit ball against us last Saturday. He was part of that combined no hitter. The dude is good, man. And I think you were talking about being a little bit bullish on the Astros and kind of underselling them this year. And I think we all did. I myself, as a Yankee fan included, I thought they were going to take a step back. I expected, oh yeah, bases loaded. Let's go.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah.
I think collectively, they don't have the offensive firepower that they had in the past with Correa. But some of these younger guys stepped up, and I think that that's working. Their pitching is much better. Starting pitching is much better than I think anyone had ever anticipated with Verlander and all of them coming back. And so I think that this is a good spot for the Astros. They're playing great ball. They went, 7-2, 6-2 against the 2 New York teams. And they did it in Houston. They went to New York and did it against us and the Mets. I think they're playing, you could arguably say they're playing the best ball in baseball right now, considering who they played up against and how they fared. So I think that this is an easy Astros spot for me. I'm going to just take them on the F5. I'm kind of, if I had to say they had a weak point, it's that bullpen.
That's a base hit. Oh, that's going to score 2 runs, 3 runs.
Let's go.
Yeah, they just scored 2, so it's not 2-1 Toronto.
Let's go.
Almost a grand slam, but it hit the wall.
It's fine. I have the Blue Jays F5 run line, so I'm cool. Just as long as we go to the bottom of the 5th with a lead, I do not care.
Oh, I don't think they're done quite yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Let's get. I'm hungry for more. But anyway, I think that the Astros get this game. Like you mentioned, Lorenzen is not the same on the road as he is at home. There's a notable difference. It's like almost 2 to 3 run difference in his ERA on the road. And I think that the vibes around Houston right now are immaculate. And with the pitching performance that these guys are turning in and day out, it's kind of reminiscent of what the Yanks were doing when they went on that crazy run just to separate from the rest of the AL East for right now. So give me Houston, and that's it.
Oh, that's a fair ball for Vladdy. That scores another 2 runs. It's now 4-1 Toronto. But great job, Vladdy. We'll go on to our show sponsor, BetStamp. Make sure to check out BetStamp to find the best lines. I'll bring it up here. You can also find me on Let's Go Wild Picks on BetStamp. You can find my picks instantly as I put them in. Great for line shopping, as always, to find the best line at whatever books you use. Use code WILD when signing up to help out the show. And we'll move on to last pitch here. I basically went over most of my plays here in this one. So I'll just quickly run through the other games that I did not touch, starting with the Marlins and Nationals. Rogers for the Marlins, he's been really bad. Ozzie Gray has been really good. So it would be a lean with the Washington. I know there are people that do like Washington first 5. And I wouldn't talk them off that in this spot. But I just didn't really want to touch this game. A lot of games on the board, and I just didn't really want to touch this one. Brewers at Pirates. Burns against Contreras. This should be a Brewer spot for sure, with Burns on the mound. Again, not a game I really wanted to get to, so I ended up passing. Royals and Tigers. No way I would have bet this game at any instance, especially with Brad Keller on the mound. Who knows who's going to be on the mound for Detroit? But it doesn't really matter. That game's a total pass to me. Rangers and Mets. Otto, he's bad. Pitching change for the Mets. It'll be David Peterson, who's pitched pretty well this year, and I made money off him. But the Rangers are pretty good against lefties, and I'm not quite sure I want to back the Mets in the spot. That's another base hit from Kirk, which will score Vladdy. So it is now 5-1 Toronto. Yeah, not sure with the Rangers and Mets that I want to get involved with that one. Diamondbacks and Rockies. Merrill Kelly against Centella. Definitely a lean with the Diamondbacks. But again, I like a lot of games on this card, so I didn't get to it. Orioles and Twins. Watkins against Ryan. The Twins are huge favorites in this one. And while I do think they win, Ryan has been giving up runs lately. And this Orioles team can be sneaky at times. So because I'm on enough big favorites as it is, I'm kind of staying off the Minnesota game. Padres against Dodgers. Snell against Gonsolin. This should be a home run spot for the Dodgers. I do have them in one of my personal parlays that I didn't give out. That'll give out here in a couple seconds. But I do think the Dodgers get the win. But from what I've heard, a lot of sharp money bettors have been putting money on the Padres to win this. So that kind of scares me a little bit. But I don't understand why they would do that, but I guess that's their decision. Athletics and Mariners. Gonzalez has pitched really well. The Athletics are what they are. That's another money line team that I like for a parlay piece in Seattle. And then White Sox and Giants. That's a tough game as well. If you look at both pitchers' ERA, you would think the over. But Cobb has actually been pitching pretty well as of late. So that's a game I stayed off of as well. And then I will give my other parlays that I did here. Toronto money line, St. Louis money line, Atlanta money line, Yankees money line, Houston money line, Dodgers money line, and Seattle money line. That is a 7-gamer plus 2,248. I put quarter unit on that. So a little fun 7-gamer for plus 2,248. And that's basically it for me for baseball here. Bryant, anything in the other games that we didn't go over that you want to give out?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. I'm on the Nats F5 money line. I've seen a lot of people have dabbled into the run line. I need that security that they I need that security. I'd rather take a push than just outright lose a betting on the Nationals here in this particular instance. And I think that there's good value still. I mean, minus 135 is good value. Generally across any betting like circumstance. It's pretty good value, especially in baseball. I like the value at the F5 money line. If it's tied after 5, then I'll just take a push. Don't lose any money. But I can, in good faith, just outright blindly bet the Nationals F5 run line. So that's my only play in that particular game. I have the Brewers money line. I told you guys that. I had a little parlay with the Yankees, the Brewers, the Braves, and the Cardinals. I like where Corbin Burns is heading. He's starting to find his game. Earlier this year, he threw 7 innings. I think he gave up 2 runs, only on 4 hits against the same Pirates team. I look for him to do much of the same. He's going to shove again tonight. His K rate is at a robust 35%. His walks per 9, 2.78. He's every good as people think he is. Again, much like Garrett Cole, the standard for him is just so high that three-run start, everyone's kind of looking like, well, what's going on here? He started off kind of meh, but he's definitely whipped it into shape. And with that being said, like I said, I have the Brewers money line in this. I like Roansy Contreras. I think he's a talented pitcher. He still needs to refine some things. And because of that, I respect him enough, and the Brewers' offense is unpredictable enough that I don't really feel confident in the Brewers getting enough runs to cash the run line here. And the run line pricing isn't as sexy as I would like it to be for me to take a swing at it. So in order to make that up, I said, you know what? Let's do this instead. I just had it. Hold on one second. There it goes. I have the Corbin Burns strikeout prop. It's really my only strikeout prop for the day. I'm debating if I want to go to a Garrett Cole one. But I've got Corbin Burns to have 7+ strikeouts and Milwaukee to win. It's minus 173. I'm going to pair that with probably a total basis prop for Rowdy Tellez. And just to give me something to root for while I'm watching the game as well. I'm not going to put a lot of money on it. Probably just literally sprinkle maybe a quarter of a unit, if that. Maybe literally something cheap, something super super cheap. But yeah, those are my plays for that. What else do we have? I've got the Mets. I had the Mets before Bassett news. I'm still going to ride with the Mets after the Bassett news. Like you've said, Terry, I've cashed money with David Peterson this year. I think that you still can. And hold on one second. It looks like the Blue Jays could potentially just blow this game completely wide open here with a good hit. So yeah, a hit here could really blow this game open. But anyway, I like the Mets. The Mets on the F5 run line. It's -0.5. Glenn Otto reeks, man. He stinks. He went to the IL, came back, and I took a shot on him against the Rangers, and he just casually gave up 6 runs in the first inning, and it chalked my bet. I didn't even open up the app after that. I was like, "There's no need. They're not coming back from that." And I wasn't wrong, and so I'm going to fade him here. The Mets are at home. They're off an off day as well, so that bullpen is rested. So even if Peterson runs into some trouble, that bullpen can pick him back up. So the Mets money line and the Mets F5 run line are goes for me. One of my sneaky plays of the day, I like the Rockies money line tonight. I know Merrill Kelly is Merrill Kelly. At one point this season, though, he allowed the most hits in baseball for a starting pitcher. He's not really like shifted too far off that pace. And we're at Coors. Weird things happen in Coors. We saw that this week with the Dodgers. And also my big thing, and this is the one stat that I want people to take a look at as they're capping this game. Merrill Kelly has a walks per 9 of well, hold on one second. Yep, he has a walks per 9 of 3.09. Antonio Senzatella is at a 1.91, which is really pretty solid, all things considered. So despite the fact that he pitches at Coors, he doesn't walk guys, which severely limits the amount of damage that he can give up. And I think that that's going to be the difference here. The Rockies played pretty well this week, all things considered. Senzatella pitches pretty well at Coors. This is a single bet, just something late night. I don't really care too much about it. I'm not mixing it in with anything else. I like the Rockies. I like the Rockies F5 money line. It's the same price, I should say. So You can get the F5 in the full game at -120. I can eliminate the Rockies bullpen, which is very suspect. So I'm just going to go ahead and take them on the money line for the F5. It's at -120. And I think that there's value in the under 11.5. They played a series this year where the first 2 games they didn't score more than 5 runs combined. And that was at in Arizona, in the toaster, as they call it. And they're like the second friendliest hitter friendly park in the MLB. So if they couldn't do that there, they couldn't do, a bunch of numbers there. Why would they magically all of a sudden do it at Coors? These teams are, at least the Diamondbacks aren't a great offensive team. We know how the Rockies get at home, but I just don't think that they're going to put up enough runs to cash over 11.5. I think a 7-2 win, maybe, or a 6-3 or something like that probably does it. And ultimately, like I said, I like the under there as well. I'm going to go with Baltimore F5 team total over 1.5 for the F5. It's -130. Like you mentioned, Joe Ryan, he's been pretty solid. But at -220, there's no way I can back that, considering everything, how he's looked over the last couple of starts. And I don't see enough value in backing anyone that isn't like one of the, the normal Cy Young candidate worthy pitchers at -220. Like I can't do that. I'm sorry. I refuse. So I'd like for them to get enough runs. Like you said, the Baltimore Orioles have they keep sneaking up on teams. They're best against the run line this entire season, and I like for them to get a couple runs early off of Ryan. He's given up 4 home runs in his last few starts total. So yeah, and I think that's really it. Oh, I also like the Mariners outright. Marco Gonzalez versus James Caprillion. That's a money line parlay type of play as well. I've got the Mariners, the Dodgers, which I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I've got the Dodgers winning tonight. I'm just taking them straight up on the money line, mix it in with the Mariners. I don't want to get too fancy with this. I don't know how they'll perform coming off the game last night. So I've got the Mariners, the Dodgers, and I mixed it in with that Rockies F5 play. And that's
Sorry.
it. No,
the Cubs just tied the game 5-5. So they couldn't have did it for my first 5, but I just cashed the first the team total over 3.5, which is awesome. So thank you, Cubs. But yeah,
shout out to the Cubs as well. Yes, I had them on the F5 team total over 1.5, and they secured it in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, a little bit sweaty there, but you got it. We'll quickly jump into this game. I know you don't cap CFL, so it'll just be me before we get to best bets. The Edmonton Elks +220, now +6.5, are in Hamilton, my hometown team, -270, -6.5, a total of 46.5 in this game. The Edmonton Elks are the worst team in the CFL. The Tiger Cats are obviously taking a big step backwards this year. I bet against them the last few games. I do think they win this game. So -270, Hamilton Tiger Cats money line is a good parlay piece. I do think they win this game. I think they should win by more like 7 or more at home here against the Elks. But Hamilton just hasn't played well enough for me this year to back them at 6.5, even against this Edmonton team. I need to see a really good performance in this game and against a team other than the worst team in the CFL to be able to back them -6.5. But I do think they win this game. So you could take the money line. If you wanted, you could parlay the money line with the over 46.5, because I think we could see some points in this game. And that was not a double play for the Jays. Okay. It looked like one, but we'll go on here to the best bet segment. I'll bring everything up here, starting with Dog of the Day, as we always do. And for me, none. There's no dogs that I'm on today. So I'm not going to give one out. Nick is going with the Baltimore Orioles against the Minnesota Twins. And Tim is taking the Edmonton Elks. He thinks that they'll beat the Tiger Cats. Bryant, is there a dog today that you like?
No, there is not. I would take a look at the White Sox if I knew someone else was pitching. But Lance Lynn is a righty. The Giants light right-handed pitching up, and Lance Lynn is not the caliber of right-handed pitcher that I am willing to get behind at what price is that? At plus 126. No, sir. I can't do that. And I would suggest maybe the Orioles. If someone said that, hey, give out one right now, I don't care what happens, just give me out one. I would go with the Orioles just because they are the sneaky underdog team I think of the year right now. But I don't feel confident in Spencer Watkins to hold down a pretty solid, really, really, really at times like very explosive Twins offense. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to stay away. Just I'm going to give you guys some totals, a parlay piece, and a best bet. That's it.
Hey, that's why it's optional. Jake, who handed in his picks, he always gives everything, but he also didn't give a dog this time. So may not be a dog day. And like I'm on so many big, huge favorites. So
Yeah.
hopefully it is a favorites day today
Yeah.
in baseball. We'll go to over under here. Again, none that I'm on. I would have given the Cubs team total over 3.5 because that is my only total that I'm on. But obviously that started before the show. If I had to give one, I was looking at the Yankees team total over, but I didn't like the price. I would have had to take 5, and I wasn't quite sure about that. I don't know. Maybe they could win this game like 3-1 or something. I could see that. So I didn't take a total today. Nick is taking Seattle and Oakland over 8. Tim is going to the WNBA, taking Indiana and Seattle over 159.5. And Jake is going to take the White Sox, San Francisco over 7.5. Bryant, is there a total that you like today?
Yeah, absolutely. This also, I should have mentioned this earlier when I was in last pitch. I said something about this with Garrett Cole. Something that I want to look forward, I want to do going forward as the dog days of summer hit and baseball is the only major sport that people will bet on. You got to start finding value elsewhere besides sides because games like this, where you got Corbin Burns and Garrett Cole pitching, they're gonna only be worse if they're playing basically none of the top teams in the MLB. They're gonna only get worse from minus 230 to like minus 290. So something like this, my play for the total is going to be the Brewers team total, F5 team total over or under, not the Brewers, but the Pirates F5 team total under 1.5 runs. Like I said, he held them to 2 runs earlier on this year. I look forward to continue that, and because I think he continues that, I think that maybe he gives up a solo shot. It's minus. I got it at minus 160, which would be a pretty solid, like maybe like parlay piece. If that's something that you'd be interested in. But it's good value, and it's much better than you sitting there forking up money to put on minus 230 if you don't feel like it. And if you're not going to parlay that money line, then why would you just single bet a minus 230 fave? That just it doesn't make sense. So something like this is something that I'm going to look forward to be doing, like going forward, as the rest of the betting world just hammers baseball and hammers favorites because they know nothing else about baseball until football returns. So yeah.
Like some people, like Nick, for instance, he does not parlay. He doesn't like parlays. Parlays don't work for him. I do like parlays. Parlays work for me. So for each and own, it's different for each person. So you just got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
In the betting world. It's bases loaded now for Tampa Bay with 2 outs, and Wander Franco is coming up. But we'll see what happens. Parlay piece here. For me, I was going to choose Houston money line. I was going to try to because everyone's choosing money line. So I was going to choose so that we all had a different money line. But I really like the Braves so much today. I really, really do. So I copied Jake and I took Braves money line. It was going to be Houston money line, but I really like the Braves a lot today. So I took the Braves money line, as did Jake. Nick is going with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Tim is taking the Seattle Mariners. Bryant, what is your parlay piece? Is it a favorite? Is it a money line?
Yeah, I was going to do the money line thing as well, but I'm just going to buck the trend for the sake of the show to give people a little bit of variety. My parlay piece for the day is I am going to go with the Mets team total over 3.5. I'm like I said, I'm gonna buck the trend. I said earlier in the show that the Braves money line was gonna be my parlay piece, but once I saw that we had like 3 people already on it, I was like, I'm not gonna do that to everyone. So give the viewers something else to think about and something else maybe to add to a parlay. So I'm gonna go with the Mets team total over 3.5 for the full game.
All right. And then best bet. Here, best bet was hard for me to choose in this one because there's a lot I like. I was tempted to give out like a 4-teamer, but I didn't. I settled here with St. Louis and Atlanta money line, and the Jays just got out of it. So it's going to the bottom of the fourth, 5-1. But St. Louis, Atlanta money line plus 137 for me for best bet. Nick is going on with the Dodgers minus 1.5 for plus 115. Tim is taking the St. Louis Cardinals minus 1.5 at plus 120. And Jake is taking the St. Louis Cardinals money line at minus 133. So go Cardinals are the best bets for all of us today. Bryant, what is your best bet?
Yeah, my best bet is part of that parlay that I mentioned earlier. I'm really sold on the Brewers, Cardinals, and the not the Brewers, but the Yankees, Cardinals, and the Braves to get it done. It's all money on favorites. I like it. Plus 225 is what you're getting for it. It's just it seems like one of those good pitching spots. So you give yourself full game in case one of these teams or maybe some of them come out slow, they get down early. I think the only team you'd have to worry about that maybe potentially is the Guardians because they've just been a pain in everyone's side. But and obviously the Phillies knocking around Mikolas, but I think Falter is just not going to be worth anything, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I look forward to them all getting a dub tonight and cashing this. So
awesome.
I've got 2 units on this, so I'm gonna need them to all get this done.
Perfect. You know what? Since we're here, before we end off the show, we'll take a look at the standings here. It's over under. Some of us doing okay, others not. Totals have been kind of iffy here so far at times. Dog of the day. It's always going to be tough with dog of the day. But Bryant, you've given out 35 dogs and you're over 500. So that's great. Parlay piece, you're once again leading parlay piece by quite a bit here. You and Nick fighting for the top spots. And then best bet, up 13.75 units. Pretty nice there. And me, down here, but trying to work my way up. I know the standings aren't correct. I didn't update them today, but they'll be more updated tomorrow. But that is the show. Best luck to everybody today. It's a Friday. Should be a good night of baseball. And I wish everybody luck in your bets. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. And let me see exactly what time the shows are for this weekend. So tomorrow's show will be on at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday's show will be on at noon. Sunday, most of the games are on at 1:30. So noon on Sunday. Best luck to everybody tonight, and we'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. Best of luck, and let's go Blue Jays.